Who doesn't love summer camps? No one can resist the promise of s'mores and swimming in the lakes and hours of exploration in the woods and nature. I want to welcome you to a retreat in the mountains of Mongolia, the magic. I am Tonya D, a holistic shaman, medium, and otherworldly life coach and subtle energetic surgeon. I'm extending an invitation for you to experience the serenity of Mongolia's majestic mountains, lush hills, relaxing in a peaceful atmosphere of a traditional Mongolian temple, surrounded by the warmth, the glow of the crackling bonfires. Join us for an unforgettable experience as we explore the ancient culture of Mongolia, wild horses, sand dunes, nomadic ritual, shamans, villages, the origins, exploring the beauty of Mongolia's unique landscape, discovering the power of living in the present moment. Check out the itinerary for this retreat at club.tonyad.tv/Mongolian retreat. The Magic of Mongolia retreat promises a bewitching brew of spine-chilling tales of the supernatural, everlasting bonds of friendship, gastronomic delights, impromptu serenades, brave adventures, moments that we're going to leave you forever enlightened. Sign up today. Space is limited for only a few heartfelt magical beings, and I'll see you on the other side coming August. Inshallah and Ashe, divine wheels, blessings to you and for you, 300 plus energetic magical beings. So are we going to hit the 444 this month? Angel numbers. So go ahead and share the excitement with your friends, along with other like-minded virtual musers. Either way, thank you for joining me. And with that, go ahead and hit the white rabbit. Do so right now. It's the only way that we can truly, authentically make certain that this algorithm, this alignment, this synchronicity will give us the nutritional quotient that our soul authentically deserves. Heartfelt, filling the stones in our bones, our own inner value quotient, our optimistic venue, our love quotient, whatever this is for each and every one of us. So while we're waiting for people to hop on, join us live, listen to the replay, tune in the afternoon, have a delight. I don't know, whatever timeline you're on or lifetime you're in. The way we value ourselves is the way the outer world values us as well. So if you're feeling a little extra spicy, ready to take control, maybe be a little selfless, if you will, did you wake up outside of the sheets or under the sheets? So it's as if the world were ready to take it on by storm, realizing that we are in control of ourselves. We are our own badass boss, and it's because we're ready to take charge of our own life, or maybe we're on the fence, like Humpty Dumpty, who had a great fall. If so, technically, we are ready to make that great fall, except it's for the betterment. So we're kind of deciding to step away from the old inner value system, but at the same time, we're actually committing to a higher vibration frequency of our own inner self world. In the outer world or the other world, I don't know, maybe we need to bring that into this one. But we are committing to actions and changes that are really going to assist us to really feel magically better in our day-to-day life. The sauce is percolating. Again, I'm going back to the coffee pot on the open campfire. But the key or the ingredient, the main ingredient in a decision that we make is that we feel better. Like myself, once I committed and decided to let go, kind of get pushed a little bit, the universe, I was so relieved inside of myself. So we just really organically feel better. We feel amazing. And the moon, the goddess of the night, Leo's all up in our heart, right? Leo is the heart space, feels very different, at least for me. But I have a Scorpio moon, so this is like in square to me anyway, and kind of in square to Taurus, so it's kind of topsy-turvetish. But if your heart is not lighting up, be sure to take your left hand, put it on your heart, and ask yourself, does this light up my heart? Is this lighting up my star? So it's almost as if Goddess Universe is really building us a new essence, from the caterpillar to the butterfly, from the inside to the outside, percolating really. So there may be some discomfort, something unfamiliar, it feels a little unknown, but there's also this fantastic feelings and sensations of inner excitement and passion. So God universe is really speaking possibly very intimately by design with our own beautiful essence, our spirit self, our own being. And our job is to simply be the essence, that energy, our God spot, our divine essence of who we are all day long, just emanating and percolating the joy molecules, grounding this energy, universal streams, scalar waves, also personal streams, even into every step that we take, the imaginal realm. So if you can literally go outside, connect with an elemental being that your body needs. I'll be discussing all of that in the Rising of the Origins, my upcoming event happening June 1st. But you have to kind of ask yourself, do I need water, refreshing water, flowing water? What kind of water? Or maybe do you need a protective big tree, an animal totem? Just kind of sense the atmosphere around you, go into the imaginal realm. It kind of, you might even get a flavor, a taste of a journey. Maybe you sense or feel a miracle happening, percolating for you. So just really taking notice of any and all the signs and the messages that you receive. I got a plethora yesterday, just saying. Synchronicities that are actually in authentic vibration. So with that, welcome to my virtual medicine room. My name is Tonya D. And if you have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. Go ahead and hit the white button, the rabbit, on YouTube, Tonya D, where you're probably tuning in. Even my Musing with Tonya D podcast, the season of the witches. But being that we're in the season of Taurus, the earth star, nature empathy, the shaman's portal, the mystical, the magical. But now we have the power pathway, the command center. If there's any Reiki artists out there, you have the power. It's in your hands. But before I go any further, once again, let's give a shout out to the village. My village is growing. My tribe is excelling. To all the new peeps entering the container, the community, new subscribers, if you will. I love to just give a voice of acknowledgement, a validation that I do see you. I hear you, new friends and guests. Welcome to the show. Thanks for tuning in. But my intention really is to hit the 444 by month's end. So go ahead and share with your friends, your like-minded groups and whatnot. And of course, as always, a shout out to those of you that have been a part of my journey, discovering me since the beginning. It really does take a village, a tribe, a container, a community. So gratitude and blessings to you and always for you as well. Thanks for joining in. And even if you do tune in later on the replay, I do see you as well. And remember, a comment, really, if you feel like you're in need for a message for your day. I have been doing a message every day anyway, which today is actually a great one. Sharing's another way of paying it forward. It's like giving a smile through a virtual room, right? You can just feel the elevation, the frequency, vibration raising. You could also find me on TikTok doing some great fun stuff there, YouTube shorts and whatnot. Just remember, I truly am your otherworldly shamanic reflecting assistant. I'm a reflector by design, so I mirror. You are your own healer, but sometimes we do have energetic hiccups. We need a little energetic cleanup. Another otherworldly life coach assistant, myself included. I am not out of this, by the way, to get us out of, to really, get us out of our own magical way so our light shines even brighter. And the daily snippet, what do I muse about here? Well, all things musing, right? I am a Gemini, so I'm kind of all over the place, but hang on to your shorts. The cosmic insights, the planets that are doing the cosmic dance. We are literally in a year of transformation. I am not kidding you, and I've been saying this all year long, or maybe I'm just acknowledging that I'm in a year of transformation. I don't know. But by design, I do follow the lunar energies of the moon through the seasons and the gates. Activated, human design, different flavors each month. And I do have another circuit online today, pretty much all week long, if you've noticed and tuned in. But for the season of Taurus, we do have the Earth Star, our 10th energetic center online. So it's kind of connected to our bones and the stones, all things nature, ancient wisdom in our bones, ancestral even. You might want to be curious if you're a nature empath. If you don't know what your intuitive gift or psychic abilities are, go ahead and take my Change Your Stars quiz. I do have the link in the bio down there, show notes, to find out your intuitive gift order or your psychic ability. We all have them. But we are really raising our soul's authenticity, our soul credit into the capital, if you will, raising the drawbridge, creating sacred space for our inner value system internally. We do have, sometimes we have a limiting value system, just like we've got limiting beliefs. So valuing ourselves more because we know we're actually worth more energetically and physically, mentally, spiritually, all of the things. We're kind of whipping it up like cream, whipped cream, I guess, giving us the ability to really stand up and be out in our skin, fully embodied. But I also do have 4 pillars, an elemental foundation, finding your useful ingredients. Mine's water. So water is just a natural derivative for me. I have 0 water in my 4 pillars chart. So water is about communication, it's intuitive gifting, it's psychic abilities and all the things that really, I'm a yang wood day master, so I need all of the elements for balance. Scrubbing the fields, right? Subtle energies, the chakras, very amazing there. That's why Change Your Stars was actually created. And I'm even doing it down to our auric fields. I'm scrubbing my energetic fields. I use a different tool every day, by the way. It's been a feather duster lately. I don't know why. Just a little dusty, I guess. But as a reflector, I often ask myself, is this the right time? Am I with the right people? I even say, is this me or is this them? Or I'll be like, what am I seeing that nobody else is seeing? And I'm having this conversation 24/7 inside of myself. And what is the movement that I'm creating? And what's the solution that I'm creating within this movement? So yeah, it's interesting. And our mind's off on a holiday in the season where things are slowing down. You know, we're plowing the fields. We're getting ready for the summer, right? That's what farmers do. They plow the land. And the wheels of the mind are on a slow turn instead of a slow burn. But I'm still talking really quickly, right? So it's like, where are my Geminis out there? We all have a mind, right? We've all got a tool, the mind. We all have Mercury somewhere. But it's this artful language of our mind. So you may have writer's block, language block. You may feel like you have a language barrier. I know I do, and I'm a Gemini, so sometimes I feel like no one's listening to me. Actually, that is a thing, but I got to quit saying that, right? So with our mind off on holiday, we are our own authors. We're choreographing, editing our thoughts and erasing some and adding more. The fine print, the blueprint that aren't in alignment of what we really are creating, producing with spirit elementally. So what's the story your mind is describing? And is your heart the author or is your mind? 2 different frequency flavors there. So produce, I would say, a personal affirmation around your own inner self-worth, an attitude of grace, streams of grace, things like that flowing, just being grateful and admiring yourself in the mirror and taking that galactic super juicy bow and just being conscious of our ability to choreograph a decision and being literally leading ourselves from the inside and bringing that to the outside, commanding forces, generative, degenerative, within literally being your own CEO. This comes up in cowrie shell divinations all the time, where we are our own CEO, especially when it comes to our own value, our own self-worth. You know, you have to ask yourself, am I in control of me? Am I the boss of me? Or if I'm being navigated by the status quo? Just saying. So we do have the ability, the potential to command forces today. Actually, it's if you're a Reiki master, Reiki healer, you know you've got the ability to command forces. And when I say forces, I'm even bringing in elemental forces like the wind, nature, beings, and all the things, actually. Our own forces, just really amping up that ability, our ability to really commit to our own value system. You could bring in your hands, I'm telling you, directing our life. It's like being a conductor in front of an orchestra or something. That's kind of what I'm sensing of our own worth, values, even an outcome that you may have been focusing on. I've got my own little percolations happening for me, but you may feel a very strong sense of inner responsibility happening inside. And the key asset, the ingredient to really put a stop to this end game, blocking ourselves from that inside voice of being self-critical, overly critical of our own value, our own worth, judging ourselves maybe, those coulda, woulda, shouldas. I talked about that in the 10 Days of Remembering, the Shadow Records, the Book of Shadows, but putting yourself in the pressure cooker of life. So many of us do that. We're on the hamster wheel. But our feelings will assist us to keep a natural balance within, going to nature, the earth star, within our day-to-day panoramic, possibly outside world view that's percolating. So how do you treat yourself merges with our self-worth in a conduit kind of a thing at the stage of, I would say, the Actors Guild in a way. So we're in a field of deciding and committing to our owning our new level of how we value ourselves within ourselves, our own value statement even. That's what I'm going with. And it may be so unfamiliar, maybe even so conditioned. We've been so conditioned into believing an aspect of value of ourselves that really comes from the outer world, started possibly at our foundation when we're born. And there's 2 sides of seeing this happening. And Indy, the message for today, I'll get to that, but possibly, you know, I do feel this for myself. Actually, I'm ending officially. It's almost like I got the permission slip from the universe of ending all actions of really discrediting myself. A policy in the physical is being kind of authorized, signed by my higher self. It's like go time, show time kind of thing. So undervaluing thoughts, behaviors, anything like that within ourselves, often once we give them the ultimatum, like we are done, it's those forces, degenerative and generative. We're ending patterns that really lower our self-worth, those limiting value systems even. So it's kind of raising the language of our emotions and our sensation, raising the waters even to a new level of how we speak to ourselves, down to the cell dynamic, our DNAs actually. How amazing that we are is getting restructured by that voice that we say. That's why affirmations are so great, but you have to invoke them. They have to be choreographed with your heart. So what's the decision that you're ending, or something, or anything for that matter, that's actually lowering your frequency, your vibration, your value, your net value? Most of the time, when we end it, we then experience this rush come over us. Like I literally felt this instantaneously, a feeling of release and inner peace, this inner joy of just being like, oh, I am done. And on the other side of the coin, the Humpty Dumpty drawbridge, I actually had my own personal Humpty Dumpty experience when I got ran over by the car, the neighbor, Humpty Dumpty, getting put back together again. But this really is about us reaching and holding a new level of self-worth, commanding forces within ourselves to really vibrate higher and change the way you see the world, and the world around you changes. Well, it goes for the same for our value. Change the way you value yourself, and the world around you values you very differently. So really stop pissing on your own innate treasure. You are the gift. The ghost in the darkness has a treasure for each and every one of us. Whether we commit to a new affirmation, a new way of talking to ourselves, a new action, a habit, whatever it is, all of this is happening inside of ourselves. So you might be feeling the bubbling streams. Take command of your own inner worth, your own world. Also creating a new kind of gauge, a guideline with these instantaneous, I would even say miraculous feelings, where we're improving upon our own self-worth and our own self-values, being vibrating differently. You may just feel that out loud as I say it. So give yourself the space, the time, the pause point, the inhale, the exhale, being in your own CEO boss corridor of your own self-worth. You decide that check the boss writes for you. That's what I'm feeling. Decide what you feel you are really worth. Put that on your affirmation, your shrine is kind of what I'm saying. Affirm it. Affirm it. What you ultimately feel, add emotion to it. That's also going to be a determining factor. Feeling your own starlight, if your inner worth holds true for you. Your heart will decide, really, and assist you in being that CEO, commanding forces. So it's like, where are we going to draw the line? That heart knows, the heart knows, it always knows. It reminds me of Fruit Loops every time. So you may find that things are truly ending so that new things can be reborn. I am literally going through this. It's amazing. Oh, and I just noticed all my little dudes are over here. So just a few announcements. The season of the witches. So sorry, I forgot to move this over. You know, every day I think I'm going to get better at this. But, you know, it's been a fun ride. So there we have the season of the witches. This is great. This is Jim Marshall. I'm actually going to have him on my live show. He wrote this amazing book, 50,000 Hours of Discovery. But the season of the witches, my Musing with Tonya D podcast, septemics. I even think he created that word. But it's the hierarchy of human phenomena. Pretty fascinating. He's this week's audio room artist. And just remember, literally, to comment on your favorite audio room artist so I can have them on again. But you can tune in on Musing with Tonya D podcast. Just Google Tonya D or go to tonyad.tv/podcast, Apple, Spotify, all the places, right? But Jim, like I said, is going to be a guest in The Rising of the Origins in a couple weeks. If you wanted to join in, he's going to be discussing septemics. It almost kind of sounds septic, I know. And then on Sundays, I still am doing my mystery guest, the 4 pillars. I like looking at the elementals. I actually use these for healing. That's how I started with them. It was all about healing the elemental realm, the meridians, the chakras, all of it. That's kind of how that choreographed in there, talking too much. But the 4 pillars, it's a I do this in a private community. So if you need assistance for your elemental foundation, that's why I do that. And again, once again, I've got the Rising of the Origins. I know that's twice, right? But it's a free online immersion where I bring in the elemental realms. I set the stage. So you kind of choreograph bringing in the elementals. That starts June 1st. It's a free 5-day online immersion where we can immerse ourselves into our soul and gift and purpose and life and all the things. I'm editing the handout at the moment for that container. And I also do offer actually cowrie shell divinations. And I don't know if you can hear Diddy growling at me and Thor down here, two little poochers. But cowrie shell divinations, this is an art of divination brought to the West by Elder Melodoma Somé, an African shaman of the Taurus tribe. I was blessed and so lucky to be a protege of his. Since about 2012 is when he actually came in my peripheral. Everything I do is through vision, so God, universe always guides me on who I'm supposed to work with, and hopefully that should manage for you as well. And of course, I'm taking a few inspired-minded people, inspirited, to Mongolia for an adventure with some medicine people. And today also, finally, getting to the end of my just a few musing show announcements, I do have a gate activated, of course. Can you tell? This is the channel of discovery. You cannot make this up. This is linking the sacral on the 46th and pushing upward to the G center. So this is abysmal. Okay, I said that finally. It's the depths within the depths, kind of. And it's pushing upwards into the kingdom of heaven, into this ancient language. And what's interesting here is I do speak in code, light language sometimes, but the 46 is it's the knack of being physical, in the physicality, being in the right place at the right time, which is a reflector. That's what I'm always asking myself. And the 29 is perseverance. That's really being enhanced by responding yes to that, to what is correct. So that's pretty fascinating, I would say. So deep within the depths, you know, this is not being terrible or negative. It's kind of having this ending well of energy, like the water deep in the well. But it's also an endless high on the opposing forces, really pushing towards the kingdom of heaven, the universal realm. So that's pretty exciting, actually. So if you have this channel activated, it's also about succeeding where others fail and being committed to that. The experiences, which is emotional, right? It's an emotional thing, connecting to the universe. So what's happening is it's just a matter of, like, once we commit to something, we have to finish the experience no matter how long it takes. It may even take years, but it's in this abstract kind of pulling away circuitry. That's where we learn from the experience after the experience is actually over. So it's like we have to wait until the experience is over to be able to see if anything actually happens, which is curious on the energy of today. I just want to say that out loud. So the thing is, following this strategy is, no matter what the big picture is, no matter what happens, it could be failure or success. But if we're following our strategy, myself being a reflector, I'm always going to be in the right place at the right time, because I'm going to come out of it with this kind of experience that I can share wholeheartedly with the tribe. So I don't know. I'll let you know what the weekend brings, but it's just about paying attention to the beginning and being devoted, which I'm telling you, it's pretty interesting, actually, with the frequency, energy, vibration of today out loud. I'm just saying that. But on the elemental highway, if you notice, looky there, we've got two yang fire energies, by the way, and the two dragons. So our month and our day actually have the same frequency, energy, vibration. But what's curious is yesterday we had two rabbits producing, and today we have two dragons, what we produce. And dragons are magic. They're mystical. So it looks like here on this Yang Fire Dragon Day, we've got the heavenly stems. They're feeding the earthly branches. Heaven brings sustenance to us. So the universe is granting us access to elevate our self-worth, because that's the paradigm we're in right now. And this is great. So we have a spirited friend right next to us, Yang Fire next door. So this is very exciting energy. It's excitable. It's lively. It's passionate. And we have a mountain range. We've got some meadows along with some rivers. So we've got like shadiness even. And our fire isn't rooted, by the way. However, it is shining very bright. The heavens are shining upon us. So once again, we do need metal. Metal for a fire day is actually wealth, abundance. It's structuring abundance. It's decisions, refinement. So it's even as if the elemental realm is in alignment with the cosmic highway. Does that make sense? So it's this high producing day of deciding our worth, using the imaginal realm, visualizing your personal self-worth, net worth, bring in an animal totem, a being from the other world. I don't know, resonate into whatever works for you. Be imaginal, go down to your shadow record, see the gift in that ghost of the darkness. And yesterday we had the singer, Unity, and today we actually have Indy. Indy is indecision, which you cannot make this up. It's the balancing between the two. That's the two things he's holding, is the decisions. But he's part of the fairy challengers, bringing us face to face with those fears, denials, inner traumas, and that's exactly what's happening. Delusion, confusion, all of the things. But these are tests, but they're not like traditional tests. They're more like initiations, going through an initiation. Near-death experiences are being initiated, or we're heading towards an initiative, committing to a new self-worth, a new value system, knowing that we are already worthy. Usually outside forces put that upon us. Degenerative, generative, we got to flip the spin there using our hands. But what's curious about Indy and actually being on today is that Indy is indecision or decision. And really, he could not have shown up on a better day, or maybe at a worse time even. But Indy fits in with our dilemmas for the day because he kind of is showing us where indecision may or may not be. And he's actually not here to help us with the end decision, where other fairies kind of give us guidance, directions for the actions that we should take. So he actually sits on our shoulders and he's offering us those kind of like a well, hell yes, and then but a what if. So it's kind of topsy-turvetish, but it's Indy. And the 6 and the 3 adds to the 9, the 3, 6, 9. I think I said that the other day. So this is just opening up to a new belief that's not limiting your value and initiating great change. But he doesn't know how to make up his own mind or even how to help us. He's kind of just sitting there. He really has no clue as to what course of action to take or where we should take when we do have options. So he thinks that if maybe we give him more information, more tangible evidence that kind of swings in favor of one decision over the other, that he could really assist us and help us more. But this fairy shows his empathy, humility by not wanting to hurt feelings, ruin lives. He spends a lot of time thinking of all the possible or even outrageous implications of every choice. That makes him afraid, to make him afraid of any sort of commitment, even for himself. So his insecurities kind of mirror ours. So if you're feeling a little insecure, just kind of fill it in using universal streams. Especially if you're met with a difficult choice, it's time to kind of weigh in like he is with his 2 little topsy-turvette balls there. I was seeing those as worlds, actually. But he's leading us to put off a definite or definitive answer because we know how important we view the matter. So of course, therein lies Indy's help for us, his assistance. Even if he can't decide that's actually helping or hindering us, if we look at our choices objectively, we can see that we are kind of poisoning our choices with our own fears inside of ourselves. Fears of making a mistake, harming others, fears of losing something we value, fear of responsibility, fear of not being able to make the right decision. But being that yesterday we had the unity card, right? Unity, the oneness, knowing that we are a one, and knowing that there are plenty of beings that really need assistance with all of this, myself included. Sometimes we just need to commit to a choice, see it to the end for better or for worse, but it's like looking at the contract actually, but not signing it, right? Sometimes it's actually a smarter decision for us to kind of gather as much information, evidence as possible before making that right choice. So the access here, the key is that when it comes time to make the choice, the decision, often that we don't hesitate because it's sharing that it is decision time. It's time to make up our own mind, make a decision and stick to that commitment. As long as it's inside the heart space, the heart has to be in line with it, really feeling, let it that it's working. So even setting time or a date for it, give yourself time, a time period, if you will, to kind of complete your decision. Write down to the time and the hour and writing it down, seeing how it feels each and every day. I mean, I have to wait 30 days myself, which is difficult sometimes, but then give yourself time to put it into practice before it's actually too late. So when the time does come, the date and the time that you're actually choreograph, writing down to the hour even, ask for guidance for your highest elevated good. And then weigh, like Indy is, weigh, ponder, consider, gather all the information. And if we do this and we really authentically are asking for assistance, invoking meditation, even bringing in an elemental being, the answers seem to really magically fall into place. It's like we're getting anointed within time and space, anointed. That's kind of what I see, you know, how you get anointed. The visions today. And then, you know, it's really just a matter of time for us to really trust and love the answer, carrying it through on those streams. We can ask for help with it as well, if we wish, but it is then, you know, it's this willingly, it's comfortable, it's given. And we do have two mountains that we can go to, telling the mountain our secrets, two magical dragons of all the things, the mystical, the magical. So even going to the mountain, making sure you have enough information, using your outside voice, go to a mountain to make that informed decision today. And take the weekend even to really find out more, the gravitational pull. And we often, you know, life doesn't really have any guarantees from the galactic universe, maybe throwing some caution to the wind. So just learning more, get an agreement in writing, even possibly actually with yourself by divine design, your own written down agreement, you know, channel that in automatic writing and then sign on the dotted line. But really don't make any promises because Mercury's kind of off on holiday. So you're kind of recalibrating that voice. But once we do heartfelt commit and decide on something, it's time, it's the stick to it. It's stick to itiveness. So I really love that Indy showed up today because he really does work with the frequency. But I would say something like, I am commanding the forces of adversity to leave that are really lowering my own self-worth, my net worth, my value, whatever word you want to use. We need to elevate our own personal, unique value system, just like we change our belief system. You know, we also have a limiting value system. So just imagine that. Get ready to blast off, like living in your skin, into your authenticity, your authentic value. And the way we manifest is through the transformation of really loving ourselves beyond these limitations of the physical realm, the creativity, producing. We've got a year of a freaking rabbit, for crying out loud. Being in the imaginal realm, one of my favorites, and allowing the divine love of who we are to really just trickle in like starlight, I guess. Allowing yourself to feel differently, vibe differently, allowing yourself to really believe differently. And law of attracting, you know, I'm great at adding the full pour to others, I'll tell you, but I need to give that full pour to myself, you know? I need to open up my own receivership. I just have to tell you, I did that 10 days of remembering, and my goal here was the 444, and ironically, she got 444, I kid you not, registrants for that. So it's really about elevating the feelings of what I feel to be in a state of holy communion. That's what works for me. Attracting the vibe that really vibes, you know. That's why it's like, okay, I got the memo. I want to hit the 444. So with all of that, I'll see you Sunday in the Rising of the Origins with my mystery guest. Ashe and blessings as always in the corridor. Make it a fantastic Friday. Blessings, Ashe. Itchy.
This is not a speculation. It's like knowing the difference between a tulip and a rose. Okay, every tulip in the world is unique, and every rose in the world is unique. But if you show me a tulip and a rose, I can say, this one's a tulip and this one's a rose. That's what this book is like. It enables you to see, okay, this guy, his basic purpose is pleasure, and it explains a lot. And that's, of course, 35 axes. So you can have a very thorough understanding. Let's say you want to understand your husband, okay? I don't even know if you have a husband. But if you do, you could go through this book and you could find him on every scale. And by the time you got to the end of the book, you would have a detailed analysis of who he is, what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are. You'd probably find he's high on some skills and low on other skills.